Oh, gun
Oh,
violence and the fucking video games. Okay, this is an article from The Verge by Mr. Chris Plante, or Plant, and TC Sotek, or Sotek. God, we need. Alright, we need
Just
to
stick
start.
with one pronunciation. They don't care.
Spell your names phonetically for me in the future, guys. Um, and The Verge, I think, asks an entirely invalid question. The opening quote for this article, which I thought was telling, is, quote, mere hours after the worst shooting in the history of the United States, which it was, more people died in that single instance than ever in a mass shooting. They continue, video game publisher Electronic Arts hosted a press conference in downtown Los Angeles. For the leadership taking the stage, it may have been any other day. End quote. But they go on to explain that it wasn't just like any other day. And fuck your multi-million-dollar plans. People are dying. Well, I'm going to turn this over to Mark Jr. right after I say there's been more mass shootings, that is 4 people or more injured in a shooting, than there has been days in the calendar year since January of 2015, or more than a calendar year. There's been more mass shootings in the United States than days in the last year and a half. Why should anybody change their plans because another one happened?
You can't change your plans because another one happened. Now, look, I understand, and I am saddened by the 50 people, or is it 49 people, who lost their lives.
49 plus the shooter.
Okay, plus, okay, well, fuck him. I don't care if he died.
Mm-hmm.
And the 53 other people. My heart goes out to you. It's so sad. That's ridiculous. You know, where's the bouncers? Where's somebody with a gun? I mean, holy shit, I've been to clubs and everybody's got a gun, and then y'all don't have no guns. I don't know what's going on. But you can't stop your life for a tragedy of that scale, regardless of the scale, including 9/11, which is, oh my God, caused Mark death for talking shit about 9/11. But you can't change your life unless it affected you personally. Because if you let every one of them change your life, you're never going to have a life. You're just going to be a horrible, depressed person because somebody in Los Angeles died. Well, you know what? I'm sorry somebody in Los Angeles died today. But that does not affect me on a daily basis. And a company that this size and has who knows how long they've been planning this press conference, are they just supposed to just stop it all because they're touting Titanfall 2? Which, no offense, I don't know if y'all have played Titanfall. Listeners, I know Clay and Nate have, and I've played it once. There's cool-ass futuristic mechs and crazy shit, and I don't see how that relates to real life at all. I don't see any mechs. I don't see any crazy pulse weapons and shit, so I don't understand how it affects one to the other. So you can't change anything that you would do on a daily basis. And actually, those people who do get depressed should continue on the normal basis. That way, you won't be depressed. You can put your mind on something else: work, home, kids, husband, wife, whatever you have going on. So I don't think you should stop what you're doing because of something like that.
You got a counter to that, Nate?
No, I completely agree. They actually canceled or pulled the first episode of a show my wife watched called The Last Ship that was set to premiere that night that it happened because in the Last Ship, a gunman goes into a Vietnamese nightclub and shoots it up. Now, there's clearly a direct correlation there, but guess what, public? There's not actually a correlation there. The Last Ship, the producers of The Last Ship did not plan for that to happen. So despite the fact that it's eerily similar, it's a coincidence, and people should know the difference between reality and fantasy. I won't get too much on the nightclub shooting. A coworker of mine, her daughter's friend died in it or something. I don't know. A couple of people from Philly died, where I'm at, but it doesn't really affect me in my life, so just gonna keep going.
Well, I think the big problem I have with it is what you guys pointed out in a roundabout way is fantasy and entertainment, they have no bearing on your life. This shooting, if it affects you, whether directly or indirectly, because people, some people have a lot of empathy and they can't help themselves from getting involved or feeling involved, whether they are or not.
Not me.
But these fantasies that television and the gaming industry, entertainment in general, what they're displaying, it's got nothing to do with it. And
Nothing at all.
And there is nothing insensitive about promoting violent entertainment in a time of violence. We've been in a time of violence since 2001.
The dawn of time. The dawn of time.
I mean,
we're a violent race.
I understand that, but the
Yeah,
United
since man
States
has existed. Okay, but if you want to get technically, Clay, since 1776, actually 1775 for some people, the American Revolutionary War actually started before 1776.
But, I mean,
but we have been at a time of chaos since the beginning of time, Clay. It doesn't matter. The beginning of time.
Since the first caveman had a rock and the other guy did.
I don't like you. So, Nate's right. Mankind is a horrible race. We are a war race, and we're a war race. Why do you think rape and all this horrible shit sells? But when you do a goddamn episode on a puppy, nobody watches your puppy episode. Your puppy, they want to see people getting blown up, shot in the face and shit. That's what we are.
Mm-hmm. We are entertained by violence. Yeah.
Yes, we have been the dawn of time.
And even the most peaceful person in the world gets the urge to knock somebody the fuck out. At some point in their life, you have wanted to punch somebody.
Throughout Gandhi's life, he wanted to punch somebody in the throat. I'm sure.
So it's part of who we are. It's unfortunate when it's what's happening, what happened, in the club. Again, I don't think it should affect the rest of the world in any profound way if you're not affected by it in a direct way.
Well, I'm okay with it, with people being affected by it, but you're going to change what you do on a daily basis because of something that has no effect on you. I'm okay with you want to help set up a fund for that lady's family so they can bury her son, and I'm okay with that kind of stuff. But to change what I do on a daily basis because of something like that, I can't.
No.
I just can't. I mean, and honestly, if I lost a sibling or a parent or something like that truly affected me, I think I would want to go back to work almost immediately to not think about it.
Yeah, get your mind off of it.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, when did our grandpa die? 3-4 months ago? I still haven't faced it yet. Okay, so, and I refuse to face it, and I won't face it till July something when we go to the family reunion.
You should face it.
Nate, I've tried. I can't. I can't face it. It's not real to me. He was not a daily part of my life. And you don't even have to necessarily be a daily part, but a weekly part. Like I talk to you every once in a while, or I see Grandpa twice a year, homie. So it's not like it's in my face. I just lost Clay.
Right. That just made it easier for me to deal with the fact that he wasn't there every day. So,
well, that's true, but I still haven't faced it. So I'm just saying, you can't let something like that disrupt your life. And if you want to take the damn right wing, pro kill Islamic people stance, you let them win if you change what you do. You let them win.
They're trying to affect you.
Yeah, well, and I'm not a right-wing crazy guy, but I'm not going to let it affect me in a point like that. Now, granted, I don't go to nightclubs and shit anymore. I'm married and 34 and shit. I don't have time. And
so I hate people and loud noises.
Okay, agreed, because, I get migraines and shit. Don't want to hear that shit. But, if you're ever in a situation, just always be alert. That's all I can tell you, homie. Be alert, pay attention, and,
Tackle
I'm not saying
the gunman.
Well, I'm not saying bad shit wouldn't happen if you are paying attention, but could you have saved somebody? Could you have gotten out of the way?
Yeah, for him to get off enough shots to kill and injure over 100 people, nobody tried to stop him.
No. And then it took 3 hours for the cops to enter. It's a very it's a very strange situation.
Take the Men in Black stance. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky animals.
And that's exactly right, Nate. That is exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened too.
Yeah.
Because as soon as panic, people, they have the mob laws where if you do something in a mob, you're not held accountable because it's mob rules. What? That doesn't even make sense. But since we're a bunch of retards that run around in circles when we get more than 10 of us, that's what happens.
It does make sense, though, because, it doesn't, but it does in the sense that if everybody on the highway is traveling 105 miles an hour and you're going 65, you're going to be the one who's going to get pulled over.
Yeah. Well, let's. I'm going to go ahead and give Chris Plant and TC Satek a little bit of shit about the way they titled their article. How do you sell violent games after a tragedy? Pretend like it didn't happen. Well, one, guys, you forgot that second piece of punctuation. And two, they're not pretending it didn't fucking happen. It's irrelevant to
Hold
their
on, dude.
purposes.
How many have we had in America in the last fucking 6 months? Enough that we could literally have to shut down the whole goddamn world because somebody else is dying? That's the way life works, homie. People die every day. I don't see nobody coming out and saying we shouldn't have old people in video games because they die. It's just the
old
way,
people.
dude, it's the way the world works. I understand people lost their lives and it's tragic. I understand that. But as a business and or a businessman, you cannot let that directly affect how you go about what you do.
No.
Well, not to mention, the people who wrote this article aren't calling for people to stop playing violent games. They're not calling for people to give up violent games. No, they're just nitpicking on this one aspect of a press conference thousands of miles away.
Yeah. Thousands.
Just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, sorry. We're going to go ahead and drop this, and I'm going to go ahead and call this a bit of hyperbole. So,
It's a good title.
whatever.
I was going to go rhetoric, but all right.
Yeah, sure, whatever.